Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is your, well, actually, this is Trump's. Sorry. I'm such a habit to do your personal readings, but for these times, I need to focus in on what's going on politically. So this is Trump's Daily Health Tarot for Thursday, April 24th, 2025. And I'll do the astrology after, but I'll focus there on the personal and the political, so you guys have both. Oh, he's getting more and more curmudgeonly. Is that a word? Okay, so we have the Eight of Wands in the morning. Tons of energy coming at him. When it comes to health with the Eight of Wands, well, it's a lot of energy to handle. It is a person that needs to slow down, needs to be careful because he might fall down literally. And I think he might be having headaches. But yeah. And it's, this is our, I should have used my other deck, but this is our Mercury and Sag card. So, this is just a lot of mental energy hitting the ground, coming at him. And, and he's turning things around with the, with the tariffs, because everything was falling apart around him. So he's backed off on that. He's also backed off in firing the Fed chair. So, So because of that, he has averted a disaster. We've got the tarot the Tower reversed. Now, with the Five of Wands for being the theme for the day, he's still battling a lot. He's still fighting with people. He's still like, oh no, my way or the highway kind of a thing. Got to be on the top. Got to be top dog. And, it's amazing to me to see a man who's pushing 80 years old and he hasn't figured out the fact that if you work with people, you can be an effective, what am I saying? He doesn't want to do anything like that. He doesn't want to really lead. He's in there. He's in the government just to stay out of prison and also to make money for his cronies and himself. Later on in the afternoon, he may be hitting a wall of some type. He may be having to feel like he has to put on some steel-toed boots to kick some people away, but we all know, he needs those lifts in his shoes. Because he's really 6'5" and 224 pounds. But okay, so anyway, back to the health level. Well, with the Tower on the level of health, when it comes through reversed, we have possibly, there is just tons of attacks and arguments. And again, here's another card that could be literally falling down, right? Of course, it's, ED issues. Of course, this is him just, being fake, being very, very fake. But again, on news, it could have news, what am I saying, on that level of health, there could be something, maybe something does come out in the news that he does have some kind of a breakdown. I don't know. But it's sudden. The Tower upright or reversed, it's sudden. But I do feel like we can read it two different ways, because he certainly was trying to manage the news, and he did avert a disaster by saying, okay, no, I'm going to stop here, and we're not going to do the tariffs on China, because the market, and I don't know if the market was, the market, of course, was falling because 145% tariffs is ridiculous. But he said he was going to drop it immensely, or what was the word? I forget the word he used a lot. But anyway, but not to 0. So that's quite a concession there, dude. And then we have the Queen of Swords too. Okay, so but anyway, the Five of Wands on the body level, health level, is somebody who is he's avoiding conflict, but it has to do with just burnout, fatigue. Again, here's another card of impotence kind of thing, just being overwhelmed. And it's because he has such an unhealthy ego. Just it's unbelievably unhealthy. You guys know that. I don't have to tell you that. When it comes to the Emperor, when, we're thinking about health issues, this has to do with anger and injuries, because this guy can be like a warmonger kind of a guy. I don't know that he allows animals get around him, but this card sometimes has to do with getting bit by an animal. But it's definitely, struggling and fighting and lashing out, and problems with his heart and with his face. So there's that. Okay, Queen of Swords. On the health level, it could be just, tons of, like the thinking isn't clear. He's being cruel. He's being ruthless. He's bitter because he's not, by the evening, I think he's in a really bitter place because he's not getting, he hasn't gotten what he's wanted, and he's actually made such an ass out of himself. I mean, I wonder if he realizes how many people laugh at him every day. I wonder if he goes on YouTube and watches all the videos that people make on him and calling him out. I wonder if he pays any attention to what Rick Wilson says about him, or, any of these other people. Because, Now, this could also be... Now, this is my Kamala card, of course, because she's a Libra. But maybe it's her. Maybe this is another woman. Now, in his administration, this would be Laura Loomer, because she's a Gemini. This would be a woman with an air sign. So maybe she visits him. Ugh. You guys keep telling me that, like, she's in there in the White House all the time, in the Oval Office. So I don't know, but she's here. She's here, and she's bitter. She's a bitter person. All right? Okay, let's close this up and look at the astrology. So here we go. Let me bring this down. Okay. Hopefully it'll focus enough on my camera. I'll stop making noise. I can hear it. Okay, so what we have here, the moon has made it halfway through the sign of Pisces, because, of course, it moves about 13 degrees in 24 hours. So this makes sense to be, but wow, what a Pisces pileup we've got going on here. These are all conjunct. So, and remember the rules with conjunctions is that they increase each planet's power. So the moon's not a planet, it's a luminary, but it's, illuminating how, so in Trump's terms, or in Trump world, thinking about that, the public, is being illuminated as to how all over the place he is, and how we are being victimized by his administration. And we are thinking in terms of what matters most to us, and we are trying to protect ourselves from grief and separation. That's the reason, that's the purpose of the moon hitting up Ceres. And every hour that goes by, the moon's going to go, half a degree. So every 2 hours we'll get 1 degree. So this is pretty much, all day long. And then, of course, the moon will hit up the north node. We're all going to really be focusing on our path in life and what, we have to take self-responsibility for ourselves. I spoke about that a lot yesterday. And this is because we can't trust the government with finances. And we're also noticing how Venus is only 2 minutes away from plopping into 27 degrees of Pisces and being exactly conjunct with Saturn. So, this has to do, and then with the North Node right there, this is everything to do with lessons in government and also governing our own lives. That is just so important. So Venus will conjunct Saturn exactly at 5:02 p.m. Pacific time. And, Jupiter over here in the middle of these two, well, Jupiter's over here at the other end, I'm sorry, but at these two squares, so the moon and Ceres, so all day is really, it's literally a serious day, but you spell this Ceres, but it's a serious day, or a serious Ceres day, where we are tuned in emotionally to how unsafe we are with someone who won't take responsibility for caring for the people that he is supposed to be administering over. Instead, he's victimizing us all. And the information just keeps churning out, to prove that. And in his natal chart, this Jupiter's up at the top of, where he, how he has the sun. He has his sun, north node, has Uranus, his north node, and his sun, all between 17 and 22 degrees of Gemini. So Jupiter's up there right on top of those planets, just blowing everything up. That's, I'm sure, why, well, another one of the reasons why he is not getting any sleep either. So, just because it's the nature of Gemini to be like, all over the place sometimes, and Jupiter's it's too much. So if he doesn't have good, effective means of grounding and balancing himself, he doesn't. But we do. We know how to take care of ourselves, and we do it by gathering information that can protect us in the future. And, because if we are forewarned, then we can, we can hopefully, skirt by this whole situation without, or with less side effects than it could be. But if we have our heads in the sand, or if we are a person who thinks that, he's just great and he's taking care of us, well, oh my goodness. It's just imagine the damage that could be done. And then, like I was talking about yesterday, see how Jupiter in Gemini is here at the peak point in the middle of these two semi-squares. So from Uranus to Mars. Now, Uranus is bringing in information that can help create safety, because it's in Taurus, and help wake up and enlighten people if they are inclined. And they will be more and more inclined because we have these three sextiles that are hitting up. Again, the North Node, the path we're going, is for everyone to be informed and everyone to wake up and understand that we don't have safety with him in the White House. And his administration they're terrible people. These people they don't care about anybody, and they're all dirty and dark. I mean, they have so much dirt on their hands and so much darkness. It's awful. Where I had this one, oh yeah, here it is. I can't remember who it was. Somebody dropped in the comment about, well, she said it was a federal, I don't know, a federal investigation, but it's actually It's Jamie Raskin who signed this inquiry into Pam Bondi, Kristi Noem, and Marco Rubio. And it is because it's that committee on the judiciary, the House committee. I don't know if they call it a subcommittee or whatever, but anywho, he is diving into the fact that these immigrants haven't been given due process, and it's 6 pages. It's pretty easy reading. So if you want to look for that online, it was easy to find. There you go, right there. It was March 26th. So that is on top of all of them. There are investigations. So, or there's that investigation, and there may be more that I don't know about. I bet there are. So, okay. So let's keep going here. Now, we still have, that FERC around and find out. This is that aspect that I keep seeing as at the intersection of fuck around and find out. Well, this is where Cittadini, because remember, Jupiter's up there on his in his 10th house of the way he, oh God, I can't even use that. It's a too far stretch of a word, but I want to say serves as an authority in his life, just because that's what 10th house is about. But when you don't serve and you're bad, it's how everyone sees what you're doing, because it's up at the top, it's up at the midheaven area where you will be seen for what you do. If it's down here below, if you're transiting, planets down below, it's more of an internal thing, and you won't be. But he is the guy that's always been out there in the public, so he will suffer public humiliation and public health issues and public. Someday he's just going to be, bam, faceplant. So meanwhile, he's still victimizing everyone. Mars here is transiting through his 12th house of self-sabotage and self-undoing in his karma. And it could be a very nice spiritual experience, but that's not him. If you guys have planets going through your 12th house, I'm not going to worry about it. But him, well, I'm not going to worry about him either. But goodness, it's just not, it's not good. Especially when he has... So Mars, when it gets to 10 degrees, it's going to be right on his natal Pluto. So, I don't know, maybe there'll be some self-implosion or something. That would be fun to watch. So, okay, so anyway, at that intersection of fucking around and finding out, now that Jupiter is at 20 degrees, now things are going to, we're past the learning lesson stage, and we're at the deepening the lessons, deepening the information that's coming out. Things are, with Jupiter, just continuing to pump out. And it's all about people who are abusing their power, which he's right there up at the top, and then along with Mushmelon. So, but this is him figuring out that you have to back off with those huge tariffs for China. And if you try to fire the Fed chair, maybe that was what pushed everybody over. But anyway, it's the uncertainty of the market that pushed him back, or got him to stand back and say, okay, and then the market's recovering right away. So we'll see how that lasts, We'll see what goes on there. But anyway, these two semi-squares here, I feel that this is there are more information leaks that are going to be coming out. And more people, now semi-squares relate to irritations and indecisions. Unless it's in your natal chart, then it's actually an aspect of receiving on-the-job training, which is really wonderful. So, but not for him. Well, I guess he's getting some on-the-job training via the smack upside the head here and there. So anyhow, more information leaks is what I'm feeling here. And notice the square. So the sun is still in that T-square position right here, right, up to Pluto and Mars. So, and this opposition going on is happening in his chart too. This Mars is in his 12th house of karma. Pluto's in his 6th house of health. And then this sun in Taurus is squaring all of that, which is it's more over here. It's up. I think it's like 24 degrees on his midheaven. Yeah, I could be wrong, but it's close there. So the sun is just making it through his 9th house now, and so we're talking, legal issues and issues with leaders in other countries, foreign countries. So there's that. But for us, with the sun in Taurus, again, we're slowing down. We're coming inside in our body. We are getting grounded. We are becoming more and more peaceful in our quest to be grounded. We're connecting with nature. We are owning the fact that we do need security. Otherwise, we can't build upon. We don't have a foundation if we don't have security. Like if Cancer is like building the home, Taurus is finding the land that you can build on, getting the plans together, getting the personal finances together, right? And with the square to Pluto, we don't feel safe with the government. We don't feel safe with the tech bros that are just, wanting, they just want all our data, because it's power. They can influence this and market that way, and plus all kinds of other things. And then the square over to Mars is, so the sun is more, the sun is not as strong as Pluto or Mars because it doesn't move as quickly, but the deal is actually the sun's probably pretty close to the same movement as Mars. It's actually, when it comes to the rotation of the sun, it gets around, of course, 365 days. Mars takes 687 days, so it's about twice as fast, yeah. So, okay, so now I get that out of the way. You guys are like, oh, I don't care. But anyway, with the sun shining a spotlight and revealing what we need in order to be safe, we are noticing that we're not safe with people in government, and we don't feel safe with the oligarchs in the tech land that misuse and abuse and don't protect, right? Like, I sure as hell wouldn't feel safe if I had my data up on Facebook, because we know Mark Zuckerberg isn't there. He pulled out all the stops. They're not even checking for. They're not even doing any fact checking anymore. He just said, hands off. You're on your own. So, and we all know. I mean, that was the reason I left. Is that if anybody steals your stuff, takes over your page, they don't do anything. In fact, they try to get you to pay money for them to do something, but they don't. They don't do anything about it. So there's that, And we are taking actions. We are looking in a direction that is more creative. With Leo, it's all about our identity. So we don't like identity theft, right? And we need safety. You don't have safety if somebody is using your identity. Well, who just sucked up a bunch of data from it was the National Labor Relations Board, and who knows where else, all of ours, right? Because, little Doji boys got in there. And it's probably already up to Russia. Russia probably already has it. So, I mean, to me, that's treasonous. And especially with Mushmelon making money off of it. So, and then the other thing too is this Venus-Saturn at these ripe degrees of, I mean, there's only 2 more degrees left for Saturn. I mean, by the 24th, Saturn will be in Aries. So the further we get to that nth degree, or the anaretic degree it's called in astrology, means that things get more and more intense. Same thing with with Venus. So, and we have, like I said, Venus Saturn really, I mean, exactly conjunct at 5:02 p.m. Pacific tonight. So things really are intense. But with Mushmelon, he decided he's only working at the White House for a few days a week, 2 or 3 days a week, starting next month. Well, yeah, and then I don't know how he can stay there past June 2nd anyway, because of the contract, because of the way it works in the government. He's not an employee. He's not he's an employee. He's not a duly elected congressperson. So anyway, so he says he wants to devote far more time to Tesla. What he did not say is that all the reporting gives us the news that Tesla was down by 71% for the first quarter. Rachel Maddow reported on that last night, and she said that if it hadn't been for all the interest and the other fees that Tesla collects, that the company would have ended the quarter, I can't remember how much, but or what the percentage was, or the actual dollar amount, but in the negative. So apparently, Mr. Fake Chainsaw is a failure, and no one in America wants him dismantling our government. So there we are with the limitations of the government regarding money. And this would be the positive aspect of Venus in Pisces, where we're all coming together and we're saying no. Now, Pisces, on the dark side, doesn't take responsibility for itself, but Saturn does. Saturn commits and says, no, I'm coming, because I know something here at this ripe degree of Pisces. There is that coming full circle, and there is being sensitive to other people and their needs, and also financial, everything to do with finances. So that, all of this energy connecting strongly down here to Mars in very protective Leo. Just think, the lion. Who's going to win? I think it's the power of the people that don't want to be victimized, is the way to read that. So, okay, and then we also have we still have the aspect of the architect from Uranus to the South Node. So it's just like I said, I've been saying all week, same thing. The backstory has everything to do with the facts of the past coming out. Just the facts, ma'am, like Charles said. Just the facts, ma'am. And it has to do with the connection as to who's working for humanity and who's not. And we know who those players are. They can't hide. And then, of course, we do have that sesquisquadrate that I was talking about, the fuck around and find out aspect. So Trump's slowly finally getting his lessons and turning some things around. But this morning, we also have another one here coming from the moon to Mars. So this, again, with the mood of the people, what we're connecting with, how we're responding, what we're nurturing, how we are intuiting what's going on, is with being in Pisces, is all about not wanting to feel helpless, not wanting to be hopeless. We're more connected. Maybe the way to nurture ourselves this day is to Throw on your favorite music. I'm loving listening to, do I have her CD on here? Let me see, I might. Her name's, oh yeah, here we go. Her name's Pam Rose, and so she's a 2-time Grammy winner. So she has her whole album Morpheus uploaded to YouTube now, so you can go there and listen. Just make sure it's a channel that says Pam Rose Artist, and then I think it says Pam Rose Artist and then Pam Rose again. That's the one she's been uploading to. Yeah, and this one was awesome as well. It was another whole full album. Yeah, this is one that has Ave Maria. Her voice is just magnificent, unbelievably beautiful. So there's that. If you want to create change for yourself that makes you feel better, music, art. So Pisces is our sign for music, art, anything mystic, anything that you'll devote yourself to. Really, really good for all psychic work. It's very empathic. So let's use all this Pisces energy for some, creating some good solid foundation. It's perfect time to sit and meditate and ask your body to tell you, okay, what does this mean? Because your body will talk to you, right? And that's how you learn how to safely empath and how to create healthy, strong boundaries because you don't just let any spirits in, right? You got to go to the top and have that protective boundary first, and then you can ask questions, and they'll get the information for you. You don't have to channel the negative booger unless you want to. I mean, I did that in the beginning with Trump just to see how his body operated. He was just like a lizard. No connection to the ground either with him. So let's see, anything else? There's one little semi-square up here in the morning. So there might be a little indecision in the morning, especially when the moon's in Pisces. But it's really good for meditation. It's good for, literally on-the-job training for your soul. Pluto being the soul. On-the-job training using your body. The body and soul is definitely related to the moon. The Pluto transformation. So empathing, sitting down and meditating with your guides, your higher self. Again, make sure that your higher self is connected to the top. Just make sure that you're not just channeling any old spirits, because that's not good. So I think I can wait till tomorrow to talk about these other aspects because they're just pretty much the same. So we have a lot of impetus. I'll just end with this. We do have a lot of impetus to move forward in our own independence and never abandoning ourselves at all anymore. That's not allowed. It's not going to get you where you want to go. But also to, again, I think it's just such a good day for spiritual work, honestly. So, okay, well, that's all I have. I'll be back for tomorrow. Bye.